everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. This week I'm heading out for another gorgeous run on what is almost a sunny day. I had planned on going along the river, but as per last time I was here, the river is over the path. This is my path. That is also the river, which is really frustrating because I was actually quite looking forward to just having a really simple, flat run for once that wasn't disturbed by mud and water. But unfortunately, there's been a lot of rain recently and I probably should have predicted that the path would be disparu and I would have to go on the hilly route, but it is what it is. I know that the dog will enjoy it. It's her favourite place to go and I've got her, she's in the woods there somewhere. So it's only a short one this week because we are on a kind of reduced mileage week just to help recover, and then next week we're back to the full shebang, and I'll bring you guys along with me. Tia has a level of energy today that I can only aspire to. Look at her. She's just zooming back and forwards. She's completely crazy. Honestly, I wish, like, my motto in life was just be more dog. I wish I could have the energy, live in the moment, exist just to be outside and to eat. Which, to be fair, actually, that pretty much sums me up. I don't know if you guys remember, last time I was here, I did go along this little bit here and I was wading through water. So it is a little bit better than it was. That is the river in the place where the river should be, which is nice. But the path up to this point has been completely blocked. But I can still run this bit, which is nice. Hopefully we will get some flat miles and I think that would be very nice. It'd be nice just to be able to keep my heart rate down for a little bit, for once. While I'm plodding along on a relatively flat bit, I'm gonna give you a little life update. I was thinking the other day that, like, I mean, I wouldn't wish EBV on my worst enemy, but it has given me pause for thought in terms of, like, the way I earn my money, where I get my enjoyment, where my social life is, which before EBV was all running, you know, like, I earned money through Instagram and YouTube, through brand partnerships, through doing talks about running, blah, 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 all about running, which meant that as soon as I couldn't run, I was like, how am I gonna earn money? And, like, who am I gonna talk to? Runners are my people, and it was too sad for me to go to races and watch other people doing the races that I should have been doing. So I wasn't doing any of that. So I was kind of like, what do I do? And I've started saying yes to, whoa, little jump. Started saying yes to things that I previously would have said no to because they weren't going to earn me any money there and then, which, you know, although it'd be nice to just do things for the sake of it, we do all have, like, bills to pay and mortgages to pay and got to feed ourselves and that. So but I've started saying yes to things that, like, actually just fill me with joy for the sake of it. I've kind of accepted that until I'm better and until, come on, sorry, gotta manage the dog, until I am able to, you know, run full time again, basically, I'm gonna have less income coming in. That is what it is, and I want to be open about it. Hiya. But anyway, I was asked to do a talk by a charity called Big Moose Charity. They do a lot of work with Lewis Robling, who you may know. He did this 250 kilometer multi-day ultra thing called Why We Run, with loads of other amazing inspirational runners. But he's done loads of talks with them, and I've gone and seen some of their talks, and they are incredible. Anyway, they asked me to do a talk, which is kind of wild because I am not used to doing, like, presentations, and although I'm obviously not shy, I am not used to putting myself out there in that way. And it's really scary for me to say yes, because it feels really vulnerable, and especially as like I'll be talking about EBV, I'll be talking about the way that it's affected me. I'll basically be sharing the story as it's happening, and it's really easy in hindsight to be like, yeah, and this awful thing happened to me, and these are the ways that I've come out the other side, and now I run amazing ultra marathons or do these inspirational challenges or whatever. But so far that's not been the case for me. Like, I'm still very much in the midst of it, and whilst I'm very lucky to be out running more than your average person runs without EBV, it's still not the sort of thing that I would be doing if I didn't have EBV, if that makes sense. So it's kind of scary and like vulnerable to be talking about an issue that you're still going through at the time that you're going through it, if that makes sense. But anyway, should be a really good talk. It's in Cardiff. I think people can buy tickets, and anyone can come along, and it should be really good, hopefully. Fingers crossed. It's my first like proper presentation about myself. I've done lots of presentations about biology, ecology, conservation. Never done a presentation about myself. So that will be new for me. So if you do come along, please be kind. More hills, so I'm going to tell you more life updates as I walk and get my heart rate back down again. Before Christmas, I finished an online course, which I spoke about before, about nature-based solutions to disaster and climate change, which was fascinating. That's a massive open online course, which basically is open to anyone, completely free, self-paced. And that was fascinating because obviously my background's in a similar topic, and it was really nice to be able to kind of touch up on that information. And then earlier this week I went to go and volunteer with Mossy Earth and the Bristol and Avon Rivers Trust, who, as the name suggests, work to clean up and protect and preserve rivers in Bristol and the Avon, the river. And I went to go work with them. Mossy Earth, by the way, if you don't already follow their channel, I must have spoken about it before. They are absolutely fascinating. They basically use money from subscribers and members, I'm a member, I'm a paying member, to basically help conservation projects by kind of funding them, providing volunteers, and working with ecologists to actually like do the work, you know, not just planting trees, but actually doing huge assessments of the ecology before they start a project. And then once they start a project, they continue to monitor the ecology. Tia! Which is incredible because it shows that what they do actually works, and they're interested in measuring impact. I could talk about them all day. I won't, because I know a lot of you are just interested in running and not necessarily conservation work. But anyway, I went to go and volunteer with them earlier this week, which I've wanted to do for ages, but haven't really known how. I basically just pestered them for literally months. I've been messaging them for, being like, hey, I really want to do some volunteering, do you have anything? And eventually they were down in the Chew catchment area just south of where I live, literally 20 minutes south, near Pensford, and they said that they could do with some volunteers, and we're basically like doing the work of what beavers would do. So they're hinging trees into the rivers, and it kind of catches the sediment out of the water and produces like a diversity of habitats, which is super important if you want lots of different animals. Come on. And if you want lots of different animals there, you need to have that diversity, but people are completely obsessed with like cleaning up nature. So picking up dead wood, removing trees and branches from rivers, clearing away fallen trees, you know, all that kind of stuff. It feels like it improves the area, but actually, you know, each of those things are really important habitats. So anyway, I went down there for 2 days, put some trees in some rivers, and worked with some of the ecologists and river experts on that, and it made my brain very happy, because sometimes I think like, oh come on, what am I doing? I'm sharing, oh god, I'm sharing running videos, going out for gorgeous runs, it's beautiful, love it, don't get me wrong, but is it actually making a difference? And I felt like the work that I did earlier this week really did make a difference. Like palpable difference between the beginning of day 1 and the end of day 2. And then I can go back there in a year's time, go for a nice little run around the woods, and I will, and you guys got to hold me to this, and see the difference that it's made. It's super cool. So anyway, yeah, that's something that I probably wouldn't have done if I hadn't been out from running for so long, because it kind of gave me an excuse to start looking for other stuff that I was going to find interesting and rewarding in a way that I do from running. But I couldn't do the running, so I had to find something else. Anyway, it was fascinating. What? Yeesh. Beautiful, but impossible to go through or around. Go and get water. Go on then. Good girl. So I've just got to find another way around. I did not enjoy the way that I went last time because I ended up too close to the road on bits that I couldn't run. So I'm gonna use the Strava heat map, see where other people have gone, and hope for the best. This bit's called Dead Man's Pond, and to be honest, I don't want to know why. But I do know some of the history of this area, and I know a lot of you guys enjoyed the little history lesson last time, so I'm going to talk through some of it once there is no danger of me falling over and or getting lost. It is beautiful here. Gorgeous. Yoo-hoo. Oh dear. Okay. Oh, it's lovely. It's been a while since I've done some slightly more technical trails. A little bit uppy downy. Yes, my heart rate is above 170 from that. I think it's worth it. So beautiful. I was looking at my Strava heat map and I was like, it says that I've been there before, but I just don't remember it. Like that specific little path. I didn't remember until I was on the uppy downy bit. And suddenly remembered it's from a route that I did with a guy called Rory Southworth. He came back down here and showed me some of the trails right when I first moved in, and that was one of them, and I was like, wow, Bristol has some epic trails. And that was really fun, and that was like 3 years ago now. So yeah, it's good to be back. I don't know about you guys, I'd be interested to hear. Do you remember when you look at like a heat map of where you've run, do you remember every specific run? Because if I've only run somewhere like 3 times, I always remember every single one of those runs, which is maybe weird, but you know, it means I can kind of remember like what it's like. But yeah, it's really cool. Anyway, I've reached the flyover and we're finally on a flat bit of section of trail, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to turn around and go back in a bit. But anyway, I'll make the most of the flat while I can. Well, that was the way I was gonna go. Don't think that'll be happening. So, I've only done just over 4 kilometers, but it has been very hilly, very traily, very mucky, very uppy downy, so quite hard work. So I'm gonna head back up this hill and then see if I can find a flatter route back. We'll see, I don't know, I think it's probably unlikely, but it's been beautiful so far and really lovely to once again get lost. It happens a lot, but it is fun. So I promised I'd tell you some of the history of Conham River Park, which is, well, I'm sort of on top of it at the moment, but that's what I've been running through. As I've mentioned in quite a few previous vlogs, it used to be mined, and it was coal mines all the way along. There were 12 different ones, and they were in use for a very long time. And there's an amazing cafe on the other side of the river, on the side of Eastwood farm, called Beese's, and Beese's was created to provide snacks, nourishment, water, beer probably, for the coal miners and also for travellers taking the river through and out of Bristol. So Beese's is still going. It's been going since 1846, I think. Really long time, and you have to get a ferry across, and you have to basically call them and be like, hey, can you come pick me up from the other side of the river? They only go from Easter through till September, and I've still not been. I can't believe it, but I'm desperate to go. It's kind of an iconic part of around here, that cafe. It's really beautiful as well. The river is, well, it used to be, and the reason there's a river path along it is because it used to be like for barges, for carrying coal and other goods along the river, horse-drawn barges basically, which you can imagine when I'm running along it. Imagine being a little horse. I'm very glad that I'm not having to drag a barge full of coal. But anyway, it got decommissioned as all 12 coal mines got decommissioned. You can still see some of the architecture around as you run through. But the other side, Eastwood Farm, used to be used as a landfill site until 1970s, I think. Or at least in the 1970s it was still being used. And then they were gonna basically build a road through it, and it was so popular among the residents that they fought for it to be protected, and it became a nature reserve in, I think it was in the noughties, so like relatively recently. And it is so beautiful across that side as well. It's a lot hillier, a lot harder to run because there's not so many paths along the river that way, because it goes onto private land at a certain point. But it's really beautiful all around here, and you can tell how much people love it because there are dog walkers, runners, mountain bikers, everywhere, all the time, no matter the weather, no matter whether the path is even underwater, which it currently is. So people absolutely love it, and the nature here is also gorgeous. There are rumours that there were even cuckoos in the old ancient woodland further up that way, the other side of Troopers Hill. I think like we've got to protect areas like this. They're so cool, they're so special, and as a runner obviously I love running through them, so I have a little bit of a my own little agenda there. But there you go, that's the history. There's all sorts of cool information about this place online. That's all that I can remember from it. But I really like that so often it's old industrial sites that end up getting protected better than everywhere else. Because obviously you can't dig into a landfill site, you can't dig underground when there's like toxic waste. And obviously like nature would be better if we didn't have toxic waste in it, but equally it protects it from getting built on. So, you know, it has its advantages, and I'm really happy that this area is protected. And the birdsong along here is incredible, absolutely love it, and it makes me very happy indeed. Deer has completely lost it. She's been doing zoomies for about 1 kilometre now. She honestly, how does she not get tired? Yeah, get some water, good girl. Oh. Oh no, dear. Where's our path gone? Can you see through there? That's Beese's, the lovely jubbly cafe. There you go. You can see I can't go any closer because the river's up, but that's it. Not open at this time of year, but beautiful and very popular when it is open. And I am hoping to go there someday. So I'm currently just on my way back, done 8.5k, very wiggly squiggly. I'm currently on the bat trail. If I didn't mention the bats, I should have mentioned the bats. There are bats here and they have a bat trail, and it's obviously, bats are like an indicator of good biodiversity basically, because they'll only live and nest in certain places, certain types of bats especially. So it's very cool that they have a bat trail here, and as a nerdy biologist, I love it. If Paris is like this, I'm quitting. Unbelievable. Not sure how I ended up here. Come on. Aha. Workout ended. Yoo-hoo! 10 kilometers done. I lost count of how many loops I did at the end because I was really limited for where I could go because half it's underwater, so I was just doing these tiny little loops. Felt like I was on a 400-meter track, but a very, very muddy one. Gorgeous run, gorgeous. And I'm finally done. I'm gonna sit down by the river for a little bit, catch my breath before driving back. And it's crazy to think this is only like a few miles out of Bristol. It's wild. Love it. That is it for this week's vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I did have some more really exciting news, and I didn't know if I should say, because it's not that exciting anymore. Basically, I'm doing a run club towards the end of the month, and there were 50 spots, but it sold out within half an hour on Instagram. So there are now 0 spots. And I was going to do a big announcement for you guys so that you guys could sign up and come and run with me around the docks, which is where I ran last week during last week's vlog and told you all the history of it. But unfortunately there are no spots left. But I will be doing more run clubs, so if you have an interest in coming along, write it down below. It would be good to kind of gauge interest to kind of figure out when I should be doing the next one. Also, if you could let me know whether you want to do weekend or weekday evening, then that would also be really helpful. I hope to do more in future, and also there is a good chance that there'll be like a waiting list, or at the very least you can just come and join in on the running part, and you just won't be able to like come into the venue afterwards just because there's like a really limited capacity because it's quite small, but you'll still be able to join in the run, and I will double check with the venue to see if that's possible. But there are already going to be 50 people there, so it's a little bit crazy. But there's going to be a 3-kilometer route and a 6-kilometer. It's going to be suitable for all abilities. There's going to be like the kind of very slow short one, and then also very slow, slightly longer one, so that it can just be a nice chatty run and way of getting to meet people, and hopefully will be really lovely. But I will let you know in due course whether you can come along just to the running part, and if not, there'll be more in future, and let me know your interest in the comments below. That is it for this week's vlog. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you did enjoy it, please do give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I am desperate to get to 50,000 subscribers, so please do subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel, and hopefully I will have some cool interviews coming your way very soon. That is it for this week's vlog, and I will see you next time. Bye!